What is good, everybody? Welcome to this video. As the title says, I'm going to show you guys how I restore military blue 4s. This shoe's been a lot of fun to work on. When the client brought it to me, I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I knew it was something I could take on. My process is going to involve a little bit of touch-up paint to the uppers, de-yellowing the midsoles and the soles, and of course, giving it a nice deep clean. I'll show you my process and how you guys can get the exact same results. If you guys like this video, simply drop a like, leave a comment at the bottom. It definitely means the world to me, and I'm always doing this for you guys. So, I'm done talking. Let's go ahead and restore these J's and bring them back to life. As you guys can see, the sole has a lot of dirt and gunk in it. So before I even, start cleaning the bottom, I like to scrub out a lot of the dirt first. I just use this little paint scraper. Pick it up at Home Depot or Lowe's. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. Once we get the dirt out, then we'll go ahead and get some hot water, get a little bit of this soap from the laundry, let these laces soak in the hot water to loosen that dirt. So let's go ahead and kind of start this process. Now that we've got a lot of that gunk out, I'm gonna go ahead and start heating up this water so it's nice and hot. And then we'll kind of just spray some of that loose dirt out. And then what you're gonna wanna grab next is a Rejuvenator brush or just a Jason Marks brush. Realistically, you just want a stiff brush. That way it can really get into the bottom of the sole and really clean out a lot of that dirt. So let's start this water, pour our soap in here, and get this water up to hot. And then we'll go to work. Alright guys, now the sole is nice and clean. So we're going to go ahead and head back into my office. We're going to talk about UV lights, ice box, what I do, methods you can kind of use when it comes to de-yellowing your sole. So I'm going to go ahead and get these bad boys dried off. We're going to go back into my office and show you guys the products that I use to get this de-yellowing out. Alright, we got the bottoms all cleaned out, which is crucial if we're going to be applying sauce to the bottom to get the de-yellowing out. So what I showed you guys is my ice box. I picked up this light recently from Amazon. It's called the BESTVA. It's a UV grow light meant for growing plants indoors. It's a 1200 watt light, which is more power than you'll ever need. So what I would recommend using for sauce, it's called Edgar's Ice Cream. If you heard of RALEIGH Restorations, he produces this sauce. Definitely one of the better ones on the market. If you're in a pinch, you would pick up Salon Volume 50 cream or 40 cream, and you can use that. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna put some sauce on the bottom of this sole, and then we'll wrap it up with saran wrap, and we're gonna probably do about 3 to 4 sessions under my light, usually about an hour to 2 hours every session. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that. Now one thing I've learned, guys, when you put the sauce on these blue parts, it's not going to harm it. I've done it plenty of times. It doesn't leave burn marks or anything. If anything, it gets the deoxidation out of this blue part as well. Personally, I just like smearing in my sauce with the toothbrush. Spread it nice and even over the sole. And then these yellowed parts on the heel, you want to make sure you get some sauce there. The cool thing about de-yellowing is it'll get a lot of this stuff out. Always get the toe cap and the side here. A little definitely goes a long ways, guys. So just be careful. Don't put on too much to where it can drip and cause issues. Always get into little crevices. Other thing I want to tell you guys is what you can line your box with. Personally, I know a lot of people use foil. It's not as reflective as you would think. So I was turned on to Mylar paper because it's a lot more reflective than foil will ever be. So I always recommend lining your box with Mylar paper. Go ahead and put this bad boy on, start the lights up, and let it do its thing for a couple hours. There we go, guys. That was one session under my UV light. Now, if you guys do not have a light, you know, utilize what you have around your house. You can utilize your window seal if you have a window that has a lot of good sunlight coming in through it through the day. Really, a couple hours will do the trick. If you're really picky like myself, I'll probably do one more session off camera to really make sure we get a lot of that de-yellowing out. So, if you guys are still watching this video, we're almost done with this. So the last couple things we have to do is go back to my sink, fully give these bad boys a scrub, take these insoles out, clean those as well. Another tip I want to give you guys, if you guys know, insoles on shoes can be really hard to get out, right? Because what will happen is the glue, it just gets hot over time from your foot inside that shoe, so it tends to stick. What you don't want to do is just pull the sole out. So you have to be really careful. You can get a blow dryer on the hot setting or a heat gun and really just heat that insole up, and then it should just pull right out. So let's go ahead and go give these bad boys a scrub down. Once we're done with the scrub down, I'll put it in my Rejuvenator laundry bag, throw them in the washer to really get a lot of that stench out of the shoe. And then of course, you always want to put a shoe tree in there while you're cleaning it and drying it. That way it helps it shape up a little more. So I'm going to go out to my sink, take you guys with me. Let's go ahead and give these bad boys a scrub down so we can throw them in the washer. So my mixture when it comes to shoes, guys, do a little bit of OxiClean, do a little bit of Tide. As far as your laces go, same thing, put in a little bit of that Tide. And then you got to be really careful with the Clorox. You only want a splash of Clorox in there. Just a tiny splash. And that'll help really get any of those little stains out of there. I get the laces in there, mix them around. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll let the laces just sit there, guys, and then really, we're just going to go ahead and clean these uppers. I put a shoe tree in there so it kind of keeps it stiff. First, we'll start with our soft bristle brush, do our rounds, do our medium bristle brush, and do our rounds, and then we're really going to clean the whole uppers, really get a lot of this dirt and gunk out of the inside of the shoes, and really just make sure it's prepped for the washer. Bada bing, bada boom. So these bad boys are scrubbed down. So now let's go ahead and get our laundry bag, and I'll meet you guys at the washer. So typically your settings when it comes to your wash, I always do light on the soil level, normal. Every washer should have an option that says tap cold, so go tap cold. Start that bad boy up. Let it fill it up a bit, and then you kind of pour some soap all around in there. Toss the lid in for good luck. Scoop of OxiClean in there. Now we let it do its thing. So the last thing we're going to need is some cotton rounds, some deglazer to prep the surface of the uppers, some Angelus white paint. Obviously we're going to seal in all that work with the matte acrylic finisher, a fine tip brush to work the edges of the upper, and then a thicker brush to kind of touch up the white panels on the uppers. Now as I'm touching up the upper of this shoe, I really want to point out how these edges on this shoe are unfinished. Naturally over time what can happen with wear is the edges of this shoe is just going to kind of wear off and it's going to expose a gray edge. So what we want to do is grab the first fine tip brush and really just start cleaning up all those edges, making sure we're cleaning those areas up. Once those have been touched up, really it's just a matter of going through the entire upper with our cotton rounds and deglazer and prepping that surface to get painted and a nice thin coat of paint. You don't want to load a whole lot of paint onto the brush, just enough to get some nice even coverage. Once that's been done, we'll get our matte acrylic finisher, load it up in the airbrush, lay down some finish, and then these bad boys are as good as new. I'm excited to go ahead and show you guys the final results. That's the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful and useful. I really want to just share my process with you guys. I don't have any secrets. I really want to kind of inspire people to go out there and do this stuff on their own. This shoe, it was a lot of fun to work on, and just seeing where we kind of came from before to where it is now, it's a whole different shoe, and it looks like this person's taken really good care of them, even though we know it started pretty rough. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, simply like it. You can feel free to comment. I also put my socials below. I would love to see you guys on there as well. Also, I'm gonna plug my website because I just barely launched my website. I've been working on this thing for about 3 months now. I would love to have you guys visit my website, sneakersupply801.com. I'll link it below because sneaker spelled kind of weird. And I'd love to do some orders for you guys and take care of your J's. Till the next one, guys. Peace.